On this Monday night, an extraordinary rescue operation deep in a cave in northern Thailand. How 12 boys and their soccer coach survived 9 days trapped in a cavern filling with floodwaters, and the dangerous journey to get them out. Also tonight, calls for action after a violent long weekend on Toronto's streets. And overrun by Instagram, the small community cracking down on the hunt for the perfect selfie. This is The National. There is a risky rescue operation unfolding right now in northern Thailand. 12 young soccer players and their coach who went missing 9 days ago. Well, today rescuers did find them deep within a complex cave system. Rescuing them is going to be delicate and challenging. But as Briar Stewart tells us, getting to the boys and their coach was extraordinary.
How many of you? 13. Brilliant.
After days searching through dark, flooded chambers, this was the moment rescuers found the entire soccer team alive. One of their first questions, just what day is it?
Monday. You are very strong.
The boys and their coach went into the cave as part of a team outing, but heavy rain flooded the way out, trapping them deep inside. Rescue crews, including those from the UK, China, and the US, had been painstakingly searching in the treacherous conditions, while above ground, residents and relatives held vigils. But today, that silence was broken by the sound of cheers. We found that our younger brothers are safe, said the governor of Thailand's Chiang Rai province. For family members, it was the kind of news they had been desperately waiting for. As further proof, they were sent pictures that the rescuers had taken of their sons in the cave. Today is the best day, she says. I've been waiting for my son for so many days. I thought he only had a 50% chance of survival. But the rescue effort is far from complete. Crews have found the boys, but the challenge now shifts to trying to get them out of the flooded, intricate cave system.
So in Thailand, of course, if you've been using scuba gear to get to them, you have to use scuba gear to get them out.
Doug Monroe is an experienced cave rescuer and says there are serious risks when there's still so much water in the cave.
The environment that they're in will have next to no visibility, fairly strong currents, very serious navigation hazards. Certainly that's the riskiest way to extract somebody, even once you found them, is through a dive.
Crews are working to drain out some of the water, and a medical team has been sent in to assess their health.
Many people are coming.
The boys and their coach have also been given energy gel to eat, because even though they've been trapped for days and have finally been found,
I am really happy. We are happy too.
It's going to take more time to try and safely get them out. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Vancouver.
The massive marathon search is the largest ever conducted in Thailand, involving more than 1,000 people from half a dozen countries. And as you've heard, there is a lot complicating the rescue efforts. The boys and their coach ventured into the cave despite the signs warning people to stay away during the rainy season. That runs from June to November. So when monsoon rains fell 2 Saturdays ago, it swamped the tunnels and trapped them inside. The sprawling cave complex made it tough for rescuers to find them. A complicated network of snaking pathways stretching 10 kilometers beneath the mountains of northern Thailand, the 4th longest in the country. Because no high-tech methods exist right now to scan for people deep underground, the massive search operation was seen as the only solution. What rescuers encountered trying to find the group, well, those obstacles will be the same as they try and get the boys out. Deep inside the cave is so dark, rescuers describe it like swimming in coffee. The water's so muddy that divers can only see a few centimeters in front of them. The corridor is so tiny and narrow, rescuers can't go too far or they risk running out of air themselves. And those water levels in some places were rising more than 15 centimeters every hour, rain simply flooding in as they now try to pump it out. As you would expect, the search has been riveting for people in Thailand, and to get a sense of how those people have been reacting, I spoke to Panu Wongchaum, a Reuters correspondent who is just outside the caves. Panu, remind us here in Canada about the sort of ups and downs of the last 9 days. What's it been like in Thailand and especially at the search site over the last few days?
Well, it's been a huge story for Thais across the nation, and it is really the time when the entire nation came together really to give their support, to voice their concern. And at the same time, there were moments of anxiety and even despair over the past few days when different efforts of the search was not yielding any result. All that changed overnight when the discovery was made that the 12 boys and their coach is alive and relatively well.
And you had the privilege of seeing firsthand the family members getting the news. I want to play that video that you put on Twitter. Let's take a look. What an extraordinary moment. And as we look at your pictures, describe for us what it was like to be right there as this was happening.
Well, I mean, earlier we heard the announcement from the provincial governor about the survival of the 13 people, but we weren't quite sure ourselves. And we saw how the news was delivered to their relatives, and they were crying with joy. And of course, this really has affected not only the relatives, but also people around them, officials, rescuers, and journalists. I mean, this hasn't been the most easy story to cover. There were times of frustration and anxiety that we shared with what's going on with the search effort. But all this changed now since the discovery, and we hope that the next phase of the rescue operation will be as successful.
Okay, Panu, thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Here's a look at what else we're working on tonight. Former Prime Minister Stephen Harper spotted leaving the White House a day after Canada hit back at the U.S. with its own tariffs. We'll look at the escalating trade war. And when NAFTA negotiations resume, there'll be a new player at the table, the newly elected Mexican president, who's railed against Donald Trump in the past. But first, the city of Toronto trying to get a handle on gun violence after a violent long weekend. On Saturday, a shooting in the city's entertainment district left 2 people dead and 1 injured. And then last night, gunfire again rang out in the downtown core. 4 people were hurt. The police chief insists the city is safe, but at a vigil for one victim, not everyone is reassured. A 21-year-old rapper known as Smoke Dogg was one of the people killed on Saturday. Jacqueline Hansen is at a gathering to remember him. Jacqueline.
Ian, the people here want the violence to stop. This is a display of what Javonte Smart meant to his family, his friends, and the community. But it is also a reflection of an unsettling reality of how violence in this city is taking the lives of young people. Just last night, there was another candlelight vigil. Ernest Modekwe was shot and killed Saturday along with Smart in broad daylight.
I want the violence to stop, you know. I don't want to see my friends dying and stuff. You know, I lost 2 of my friends in one day. You know, Smokey too. It's just not right what's happening in the city, you know.
While Sunday's vigil was happening, more shots rang out in the tourist area of Kensington Market. 4 people were injured, 1 seriously.
I saw the man just, I don't know if he died or not, but he was gripping for his life.
Police haven't said if any arrests have been made.
Makes me feel very uncomfortable, knowing that somebody might be behind me with a gun.
Police haven't revealed any suspects in Saturday's deadly shooting either. Toronto's mayor blames it on gang violence. Yesterday, he repeatedly seemed to imply those involved were repeat offenders.
We've got to get a lot tougher on letting people out on bail who have previous history with gun offenses.
But when we contacted Toronto police, the communications team said it didn't know where his information came from. And today, the mayor seemed to walk it back slightly, saying in a statement, "I've always advocated for tougher gun control and tougher bail conditions for gun crime."
And then when you tell me it's a gang.
Still, it has some concern that whoever is involved may not stop.
Violence is intoxicating. And once you get into a violent mass situation, it's extremely difficult to turn back. There's a point you reach in violence where consequences are not even thought of. And I really, really mean that.
Are you worried that we're at the cusp of that?
Yes, I am. I am very worried.
Despite 2 shootings in 2 days in 2 well-known areas of Canada's busiest city, Police Chief Mark Saunders says people shouldn't worry.
People should feel safe downtown, and I will stand by that.
But Ian, some people here tonight say that they don't feel safe, that they're afraid for themselves and for other young men in the community. And one young girl here said that she's afraid for her brother.
And the lack of information may be difficult for some to find all of this reassuring when they're told the city is basically safe. What do we know about last night's shooting?
Well, yeah, it's been almost 24 hours and we still don't know much. We don't know who the injured people are, why they were targeted, if they were targeted, and who was doing the shooting. And, Ian, we still don't know if there's a connection between Sunday's shooting and what happened on Saturday. So, as you said, when the police chief mentioned that the city is safe and not to worry, it's difficult for some people here to do that when there are still so many questions. Ian?
Thanks, Jacqueline. Toronto's mayor says he is going to reach out to the Premier of Ontario and the federal public safety minister to mount some kind of joint effort against the violence. For those around for the first so-called Summer of the Gun, that may sound familiar.
In regards to the gunplay, it's gotten out of hand.
I think it has to stop. This is too much.
If you're going to be that brazen, we're also going to be that brazen in what we need to do to solve this problem.
Toronto's Summer of the Gun actually extended throughout 2005. In nightclubs, on streets, even in a church, Toronto saw gun violence on a level it hadn't experienced in decades. The victims as young as 4.
They parked the car right there where that gray car is. Then they started to shoot me.
Then came the Boxing Day gun battle in the city's busiest shopping area that left a 15-year-old dead. Politicians responded to the pressure to act.
Should they choose to become a criminal with a gun, then we will work as hard as we can.
More prosecutors were hired, more police, and Toronto launched TAVIS, a new police task force that moved into troubled neighborhoods.
This area here as well is hot to try.
TAVIS got controversial. It relied heavily on police checks known as carding.
That program has impacted this community, has traumatized this community in ways that up to today.
Did any of it work? Well, from a 2005 homicide rate of 2 killings per 100,000 residents, Toronto's gun homicide rate started to trend downward gradually, but it appears that a couple of years ago it started rising again. As of this summer, gun homicides are already up about 40% from the same time last year. Whether Toronto's strategy was responsible for reducing the gun violence is not clear, but TAVIS was disbanded last year, and Ontario's Premier campaigned on a promise to bring it back. To Ottawa now, where officials are staring down new uncertainties about the future of the North American Free Trade Agreement. And it's not just because of Donald Trump, but a new president-elect in Mexico. This comes as Canada and the United States have become increasingly embroiled in a messy trade dispute. As Catherine Cullen tells us, negotiations are getting even more complicated by the day.
Even the humble hot dog isn't immune. Think ketchup and mustard belong together? A trade fight has them on unequal footing. U.S.-made ketchup, like Heinz, is now subject to a 10% tariff from Canada. Mustard remains tariff-free, creating a condiment conundrum.
That might make me have to think twice. I might have to ditch Heinz sometime along the way.
Canada not playing nice.
Put aside the major economic consequences for a second.
I got questions about this. Felt pens and body wash. Why are you putting that on your list?
Today, a few Americans seem more focused on the fact that Canada's response just isn't very nice.
We've been very nice to Canada for many years, and they've taken advantage of that.
Canadian officials say they had no choice but to push back, pointing out Canada's retaliation is intended to be exactly equal to what the U.S. did first. Trump's administration doesn't see it that way.
Escalating tariffs against the United States does nothing to help Canada, and it only hurts American workers. The president is working to fix the broken system, and he's going to continue pushing for that.
Also at the White House today, former Prime Minister Stephen Harper spotted leaving the West Wing after his private meeting with senior Trump officials. No word on what was discussed. Canadians and Americans are both welcoming a new player to the trade table.
Viva Mexico!
Mexico just elected left-leaning populist Andrés Manuel López Obrador. The one-time NAFTA skeptic now says he does want to sign a new deal, but just what does he have in mind?
He's a self-described nationalist, so I think he will also not hesitate to push back on the United States when U.S. demands do not align with his interests.
For all the talk about the future of trade, right now there are no active NAFTA negotiations, meaning this tariff tension could last a while. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Ottawa.
Let's take a closer look at the new president of Mexico that Catherine just mentioned and the kind of relationship he might have with his American counterpart. As Paul Hunter reports, he's had some choice words for Donald Trump in the past.
When Andrés Manuel López Obrador set his sights on the Mexican presidency, he knew full well the value in Mexico of taking on Donald Trump. After all, as Trump still regularly reminds Mexico,
they're going to pay for the wall and they're going to enjoy it, okay?
So, though he won last night's election with a campaign focused on corruption and violence in Mexico, it's the views of the president-elect on Trump that tonight have the U.S. buzzing. In his book, Oye Trump, or Listen Up Trump, published last year, López Obrador lists off how he's described Trump in the past, once likening him to Hitler in the days before the Holocaust, another time labeling Trump erratic and arrogant. And about that border wall, says López Obrador, it goes against humanity, intelligence, and history.
And I will say that I just spoke with the president-elect of Mexico. We had a great conversation about
After a half-hour phone call between the two this morning, described as respectful, Trump said he thinks the relationship will be a very good one, adding, without explanation,
I think he's going to try and do very hard. I think he's going to try and help us with border.
Some have likened the two because, like Trump, López Obrador is a populist, an outsider who ran against politics as usual, in effect, pledging to put Mexico first. But his views are socialist. He's pro-migrant rights, and as he put it, he'll never be the piñata of any foreign government. Last night, he pledged to work with the U.S., but with a kind of caveat.
Siempre fincada.
It's a relationship, he said, rooted in mutual respect and the defense of the immigrants who live and work in that country. One question for where does this all go from here? Will the president-elect do what the outgoing Mexican president chose not to? To come visit this place, to sit down with Donald Trump and talk about that border. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
We're watching some other developing stories out of Washington tonight. The White House says Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will leave Thursday for his third visit to North Korea. The announcement follows a report in the Wall Street Journal that North Korea has been expanding a facility that builds ballistic missiles.
We aren't going to confirm or deny any intelligence reports. What I can tell you is that we're continuing to make progress.
Sanders said U.S. and North Korean officials met this weekend in the demilitarized zone. Details of Pompeo's trip are still to come. Michael Cohen, the president's longtime lawyer and fixer, is now the subject of intense speculation. Today, ABC's George Stephanopoulos began dropping details of an off-camera interview this weekend in which Cohen reportedly said he puts family and country ahead of his loyalty to the president. Some call it a signal that Cohen is ready to make a deal with the Mueller investigation.
We're here today to announce the arrest of Demetrius Nathaniel Pitts, also known as Abdur Rahim Rafiq.
That FBI arrest was in connection to what's being described as a terror attack planned for Cleveland's 4th of July parade. The suspect, an American citizen, allegedly thought he was plotting with al-Qaeda. He didn't know that the operative he was dealing with was actually an undercover agent. Pitts first came under surveillance in 2017 after expressing hatred for the United States and a desire to join al-Qaeda on social media. Ahead tonight on The National, it's one of the first of its kind in this country, a hospice for the homeless. You'll meet the doctor fighting to bring comfort to people living on the street in their dying days. And why testing your food for dangerous bacteria could soon be as easy as pulling out your smartphone. And a little later, he says it's a dream come true. You'll hear from the first Jamaican-born player drafted to the NHL and the Canadian family who adopted him.
When you realize where he came from, the loss he experienced in his life, early childhood, to go from that to this moment, it's kind of like, wow.
Each summer, as many of us fire up the barbecue, we're reminded to cook meat thoroughly or risk getting seriously sick from toxic bacteria. Now, a group of scientists at McMaster University is developing an easy way to know if meat is contaminated before you throw it on the grill. Ron Charles went to their lab in Hamilton to check it out.
Hania Yousefi is a graduate student in engineering, but lately she's been handling a lot of ground beef at this lab at McMaster University. Not to make burgers, but to test a new quick method for determining if the meat is contaminated with a potentially deadly E. coli bacteria.
I wanted to perform an impactful research, something that can help people's lives, something that can prevent someone from getting sick or losing a family member.
So you put it inside.
To do that, the research team she's on has developed a detector patch that changes color under ultraviolet light when it comes into contact with contaminated meat.
They're attached there and they stay there.
Yousefi's professor, Tawhid Didar, says the simple-looking patch, which he calls Sentinel Wrap, has a lot of potential.
This is a tiny, thin, flexible plastic patch. This could be the wrap that you wrap around your meat sample, for example.
The tiny, thin patch is made by this sophisticated jet printer that lays on a few molecules of DNA that react specifically to E. coli by luminescing in ultraviolet light. The DNA itself does not contaminate the food. Other DNA molecules could react to other pathogens.
We are working hard to expand the repertoire of the detections that we can make to include other bacteria like Salmonella, Listeria.
Right now, determining if food is contaminated with E. coli involves sending samples to a lab that can analyze them.
You need to take the package, open it, and process it. Take it to a lab, either culture that sample or try to do different laboratory-based experiments to find out what's going on. Our goal was to avoid that so that you can get real-time information.
Their hope is that eventually one day food distributors, grocers, even shoppers could use a smartphone camera and an app to see if a patch has changed color and determine if the food is safe to eat. Ron Charles, CBC News, Hamilton.
Next on The National, giving homeless people a home in their dying days. The National documentary takes you inside a groundbreaking hospice.
It's clear that we live differently during our life, but should we really die differently? If we really can't get what a human life is worth at the end of life for people who are the most vulnerable and most marginalized, I don't know what we're doing.
Every night in the country's biggest city, more than 5,000 people sleep on the street. They face hardship that wears down their health and cuts their lives short. When death comes for the homeless, the comforts of home are more distant than ever. Tonight, our national documentary takes a raw look at their plight, as well as the groundbreaking efforts to give them a place to die in peace, so their final journey can be a journey home.
Toronto is a very interesting place. I mean, it's a beautiful city. You know, you got the CN Tower, you got great views, you got a harbor front, but what people don't visibly see is that there is this whole population in our city that is just falling through the cracks. Do you want to sit here? It's hard enough to deal with having a serious illness. It's hard enough to deal with having a terminal diagnosis, and then to see people dealing with that on the street on top of it all. I can't imagine what that life is like. Caesar, are you having any nausea or vomiting?
I usually don't eat.
So you're eating a lot less, you mean?
A lot less.
So like you're eating small. Clients come to us in different ways and through different pathways, and before you even enter a person's space, and that space can be the street, it can be a shelter, but it's their space, is to recognize the trauma that the people we're serving have experienced in being on the street, in being ill. All right, where was the pain you were feeling? And so do you wake up with that pain every day? Oh, wow. It's about building rapport and trust. Yeah, exactly. You've also told us you don't want CPR if your heart stops. You want to pass away peacefully.
Yeah, that's what I want.
I'm inspired by the population we serve each and every day. They inspire me to do what I'm doing. If they can do what they're doing with the resilience and courage and do it while they're on the street dealing with the terminal diagnosis, then we can do better. Okay, take care. Bye, my friend. Bye. If you had the choice, where would you want to die? 90% of Canadians say they want to die at home. Our experience is that the homeless say the same thing. I want to die at home. But over 70% of homeless people in a country like Canada end up dying in emergency departments, acute medical wards, or transitional spaces like the park bench, for example. Wow.
I went to a conference and I heard Naheed speaking about this issue of homelessness and the issue of palliative care and the shortened lifespan and the care that they needed and were getting or not getting on the street and what was happening. And so after he came down off the stage, I just went over and introduced myself and I said, you know, Naheed, you and we need to work together on this. We need to make this happen.
Okay, so this is going to be the kitchen area. It's a bit small, so we're just going to have the countertops running along the back side with a
And here we are, not even a year and a half later, and this is the very beginning of our first 4-bed residential hospice for the homeless population.
And then this is our wheelchair accessible washroom. It's going to be.
The question is, where do people who don't have a home go to die? They're dying in alleys and streets and under bridges, and it's a very sad thing. Yeah. Well, this will be their home. Good. And then the same thing here then in terms of the hospital bed, and then a nice lounge chair so that guests can stay overnight or friends or whatever they like to have here too. Nice.
Yeah, and then everyone will have.
When this place opens, I hope that it will be a warm, supportive, safe environment. Their families will be welcome. Their street families are welcome here. And it will be a really unique environment that will be a great space for them. And one I hope that they can call their own. It's a perfect location.
Great location.
Yeah. This is a place where people will be coming to die with dignity.
Clientele, and there's a couple other, Salvation Army across the street, and then there's Haven just beside us.
As you know, we're starting this new project. It's called Journey Home Hospice, and given what's been going on with you, we'd love to offer you a spot to kind of get the support you need, basically next week.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's been really difficult to have people listen when I say what's the quality of life and stuff like that.
Yeah. Pandora is in a very difficult scenario because she's dealing with a significant heart disease issue, a vegetation called infectious endocarditis, and unfortunately the treatment that she would need, she's not been deemed a candidate for. You had a question of whether we can have oxygen there, and yeah, we can absolutely support having oxygen for you so you can breathe better, right? She's at the shelter where she can't have oxygen due to various rules. She's breathless. Her oxygen saturation drops when she walks just a few steps. She has pain, and yet time keeps ticking and her quality of life suffers.
I feel like I'm dying. I've been homeless off and on since I was 15. I found that the way to avoid confrontation with my father would be to come home at 3 a.m. when he'd be too tired to fight with me. And he'd just have to go to work, and I'd then sleep until, noon and continue off my way of being a delinquent, right? And doing as I saw fit. One night, my boyfriend really had urged me to go home, and I didn't listen to him. I found some guys that were drinking in the park, and I got too drunk, and I ended up being date raped. And after it was all said and done, I realized that I didn't have my keys anymore, and that in order to gain access to my home, I'd have to face my dad, and that would be really, really heartbreaking for my father. And so I knew that there was no way I could stand there and look him in the eye and get yelled at for being a screw-up and a stupid kid. And in that moment, I considered myself homeless.
Very nice to meet you, Mayor Tory. Thanks for coming. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to take this moment to thank you all for joining us. It's so great to see so many people here in support.
I couldn't be happier. I mean, compared to what it looked like 2 months ago, I think it's phenomenal, the amount of work that's been done.
We're sitting in Pandora's future room, actually. This is exactly where she's gonna come. She'll sleep there. While our focus here is good palliative care and a palliative approach to care, there is potential that someone like Pandora could actually thrive in an environment like this and do better, and may actually live longer as a result of the care.
We're gathered today as those who've shared the journey with Pandora as a care team.
When I heard that Pandora had passed, I think I felt mixed emotions. When she moved in, her eyes lit up. She was bright. She was home, and then she even said that to us. It was a beautiful kind of, it was like a homecoming for her. It was surreal to see how someone was dealing with so much trauma and sadness and anger and frustration. And don't get me wrong, that was still there. But when she saw her room, she lit up. It's like she had journeyed home. How are you doing?
Hard to breathe.
I'm so sorry. I think about the world that we live in, and I think about the world that I dream of for my future kids, our future generation, and I think it should be a world where we care about each other. You've done so amazing, you know that, right? So resilient. It's clear that we live differently during our life, but should we really die differently? If we really can't get what a human life is worth at the end of life for people who are the most vulnerable and most marginalized, I don't know what we're doing, but it's possible. There is a community, there's compassion. People do care, and the opening of Journey Home Hospice is a testament to that.
And the statistics do paint a grim picture of health outcomes for people who live on the street. They're 4 times more likely to have cancer than the general population. Their chance of having heart disease is 5 times greater. The risk of hepatitis C 28 times higher, and Perhaps the next number drives it all home. The average life expectancy of a person living on the street in Canada is 47. Up next on The National, a Canadian's journey from a Jamaican orphanage to making history in the NHL.
That was hard. Like every day at the children's home was like a fight to survive. But one thing I chose was to love, in spite of all the things that people did to me.
And don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. The National Today takes you inside our journalism each weekday afternoon. You can sign up at cbcnews.ca/thenational. On The National tonight, disgraced film mogul Harvey Weinstein is now facing a potential life sentence. Today, Manhattan's district attorney announced new criminal charges, two of which relate to a new allegation that Weinstein forced sex on a woman in 2006. But what's noteworthy are the two charges of predatory sexual assault, each of which carries a maximum life sentence. One of them relates to an alleged assault for which he's already facing other charges. Wildfires continue to spread in California. One of the fastest moving is in western Yolo County near the city of Sacramento. It's triggered several evacuations. The fire escalated over the weekend, charring at least 130 square kilometers. The flames are currently only 2% contained. German Chancellor Angela Merkel agreed today to build camps for asylum seekers and tighten the border with Austria, all in a deal to save her government. For weeks, her own interior minister threatened to bring down Merkel's coalition unless she reversed an open-door immigration policy. This is a spectacular about-face for Merkel. She staked her legacy on welcoming hundreds of thousands of migrants into Germany. The World Cup clash today between Brazil and Mexico was dramatic. For Mexico, a chance to break a streak of 6 consecutive failures to get to the quarterfinals. A command performance from Brazil's Neymar locked Mexico out, though he drew criticism for what some called his theatrics. After the 2-0 win, Brazil advances. Every top-level athlete has a story about where they came from and what it took to reach their dream, but few have a tale like 20-year-old Jermaine Loewen. The Manitoban was selected by the Dallas Stars at last month's entry draft, but as Karen Pauls tells us, Loewen's story was inspiring long before the NHL came calling.
Blazers here trying to get on the board. Here's Pilon.
Meet Jermaine Loewen.
Deflection, score!
For the last 4 years, a winger with the Western Hockey League's Kamloops Blazers.
It was a dream come true. You know, when I got the call, it was really emotional for me.
And now, a Dallas Stars prospect.
When you realize where he came from, the loss he experienced in his life, early childhood, to go from that to this moment, it's kind of like, wow.
Jermaine's birth parents abandoned him when he was 1 year old. He was sent to live in a Jamaican orphanage.
That was hard. Like every day at the children's home was like a fight to survive. But one thing I chose was to love, in spite of all the things that people did to me. And even to this day, like all the memories that come back, I just really try to just forgive every day.
Stan and his wife Tara were volunteering with a Christian organization in Jamaica when they met Jermaine in the orphanage. They fell in love with him.
Say hi, Daddy.
And decided to adopt him.
There was something really special about Jermaine from the beginning. He just looked like he needed a family.
My heart melted because it was the first time I felt like I didn't know what parents was really till up to that point.
Jermaine's mommy and daddy will be taking him to Canada to live with them.
After 21 months of paperwork, they finally brought their son home to rural Manitoba.
He was so brave. His resiliency and courage was obvious even back then, and his I'm not giving up. And I think lots of that perseverance and resiliency has really helped him in hockey as well.
Jermaine got his first pair of hockey skates as a Christmas gift when he was 6. He played his first indoor hockey game here at the Arborg Arena just before his 11th birthday. 6 years later, he was picked up by the Kamloops Blazers of the Western Hockey League, and now he's been drafted by the Dallas Stars.
It's a great story, and it's an unheard of age to start hockey at. Incredibly gifted athlete. He's incredibly driven, and he's one of the nicest guys and nicest teammates one could ever have. So he's earned it.
Back at home, people are thrilled for him.
It's great for him and great for the town, you know, for a small community, yeah. It's kind of got our name on the map again.
Is this mine?
But his family is proudest of all.
He did really good, and that I will keep hoping and hoping that he will do his dream.
We see God's fingerprints all over his life and his journey. He just has had so many really amazing opportunities and doors open to him.
There's no guarantee Jermaine will ever play a single NHL game, but he's making the most of this opportunity.
I don't take a day for granted. Listen to instruction the best of my abilities and just be a person that people want to be around.
Hoping others will be inspired by his story and believe dreams can come true. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Arborg, Manitoba.
Next on The National, we'll take you to a small community in British Columbia that's being swamped by hikers in search of the perfect selfie.
First time actually, and so my family said it was really nice views. I love it. It was worth it.
We just wanted a quick, easy hike that was local, somewhere with a brew pub at the bottom or a pub at the bottom.
We haven't gone hiking, but you can always find powerful images on our Instagram page. You'll also find exclusive video on Facebook, and feel free to tweet us anytime at CBC The National. Canada's natural beauty has always been a big draw, but in this age of social media, the lure may be stronger than ever, especially when that gorgeous backdrop is just a day trip away. And when amateur hikers arrive, there can be problems. Tonight we focus on Deep Cove, a tiny bit of heaven at the edge of North Vancouver. The promise of a great shot for Instagram seems to be making it too popular. The CBC's Laura Lynch shows us the downside.
The serenity, the solitude of a peaceful walk in the woods until hikers arrive to this.
Thank you. This is my first time actually, and so my family said it was really nice views. I love it. It was worth it.
We just wanted a quick, easy hike that was local, somewhere with a brew pub at the bottom or a pub at the bottom.
3, 2, 1.
This is what's causing the swarming of the mountains. Selfies and social media entice ever more people onto the trails. Despite the natural splendor, it's not entirely a pretty picture. The view is a lot different from down here.
I mean, we all have a little guilty pleasure with our social media, right?
Megan Curran has lived and run a business in Deep Cove for almost 15 years.
The biggest challenge, I guess, is traffic, because we have really limited infrastructure. We were built as a small community of vacation cottages. The infrastructure just doesn't support a lot of cars.
Curran persuaded the local government to restrict parking and the number of people on the trails. And the problem is more widespread. This pretty lake north of Whistler was so jammed with cars and people posting on social media that BC banned dogs, claiming too many of them hurt the environment. The social media spotlight has also potentially deadly consequences.
It presents some challenges, that's for sure.
North Shore Search and Rescue volunteers have seen a 30% increase in rescue calls since 2014.
They can be in the city, they can be in their shorts and their flip-flops. You know, they don't recognize that the conditions can change very rapidly when you're in mountainous terrain.
One recent example, a first-time hiker separated from her friends on a still snowy trail.
By the time we got to her, she was hypothermic, she was absolutely dehydrated.
But still, they keep coming and coming.
You look like you're exhausted. Okay.
And as long as they keep clicking and posting, the crowds and the problems that come with them are unlikely to go away. Laura Lynch, CBC News, North Vancouver.
Not so hot here this weekend in British Columbia, but a sweltering long weekend in much of Ontario and Quebec. And that heat wave is not letting up. It felt like over 40 degrees today, sending people running to beaches and pools.
It's really hot, so it's nice to be able to cool down at the beach.
Crank the AC way up high and just come get soaking wet in the water.
In Toronto, despite the sunny and clear skies, Jays fans sat under a closed roof at Rogers Centre, shielded from the heat.
It'll help keep it cool, but I actually wish it was open because it's a beautiful day.
We're all sunscreened up, but we're hoping that the dome will be closed so I don't bring my kids back home to my wife sunburned.
So those of you in Ontario and Quebec dreaming of cold weather, well, guess what happened in BC this morning? Some people woke up to snow in July. Chris Howrlock was one of them. He manages the bike park at the Big White Ski Resort in the Okanagan Valley. That taste of winter in the summer is our moment of the day.
Well, I start my morning out by looking at the webcams on the upper mountain. So this morning I seen a large accumulation of snow in the upper bike park. So immediately we knew we were in for a challenging morning trying to open the park. Well, it's improved here in the village, still rather windy up top. There's still snow on the trails, still snow falling from the sky, so it's making for some very challenging, slippery and muddy conditions in the upper park. Very unusual. This time last year we had beautiful sunny weather in the high 20s to low 30s, great summer conditions, great dirt out in the bike park. So it makes for a really unusual July.
So it is a ski resort, so there is elevation. It's about 5,000 feet at the base of Big White. It goes up to about 7,500 feet at the top. That's why it's a bit colder, but snow, July 2nd, shouldn't be that way. That is The National. Thanks for watching.